It's 99.3 Nigeria Info, and we are talking adoption today. Have you ever had a thought of having maybe another baby?
Right.
Or maybe it's even your first baby? Or you know someone or some people who've thought of having a baby, but they can't, and they just want to adopt or have, a baby of their own, though not biological. Do you even know what the process is like in Nigeria? Do you know what to do? Where do you go to? Why do we have baby factories booming? Obviously, it's because there is a demand for babies.
Right.
But there is a legit way to get babies and to make them yours. That's what we're talking about for the next hour. And we're live on Facebook and YouTube streaming, and you can watch us anywhere around the world. You can also reach us live on our website, nigeriainfo.fm. You're welcome. I am Wemimo Adewuni.
I'm Sheriff Quadry, talking about reaching us live on Facebook and YouTube. Feel free to search for Nigeria Info 99.3 on those platforms. You'll be able to watch us and drop your comments as well. If you've been having this question about adoption in Nigeria for a pretty long time, or even for a short while, feel free to put those questions through. We will be glad to try and attempt those questions on your behalf, because we'll be speaking with our guests who will be joining us online. This is the more reason you should join us, on our socials. As you're listening on radio, you can also watch our guests live on WhatsApp, on YouTube and, of course, Facebook. Our guest is Mr. Fubara Iminabo. He will be joining us any moment now. He's Director of Social Welfare, Rivers State Ministry of Social Welfare and Rehabilitation. We tried to reach out to state authorities here in Lagos.
We might still have them tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
Remember, we're doing this in two parts.
Exactly.
We're doing this one part
It is so
today.
big that we had to split it into 2 days, because we just felt that we can't. It's practically impossible to talk about this particular issue in one fell. So I mean, come on, and it's just 1 hour or less we've got. So we'll be doing this today and tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll be looking at another side of adoption.
Right. So fasten your seatbelts. Be ready for a ride, because we are. And we'll start with you joining us over the phone. You tell us what your adoption story has been, or what you know about adoption. We have a Child Rights Act in Nigeria signed in 2003, and it stipulates some conditions for adoption in Nigeria.
Right.
The application has to be made to High Court, a family court, accompanied with some documents. And also in Nigeria, a single person or a single parent cannot file for adoption.
That's right.
It has to be a family. But I'd like to get your feel. Let's be sure if you even understand adoption. What's your opinion of adoption? I know many people would say, it's not my child if it's not my child.
Yeah, that's the cultural aspect of it. Many people will tell you that they can't be training another person's child.
It's your child.
And the story behind adoption is, once you've adopted a person, a baby, a child, a kid, it is your kid. It is your baby. Legit, your baby.
Has every
it's
right.
Nobody's. And you should always, oh God, we've started this discussion. You should know that it doesn't matter the kind of parent that actually gave birth to the baby.
Doesn't matter.
It is your baby. The baby is yours to train, to give ideals to nurture. So I don't understand this culture. Let's not start this program right now.
Let's start with you, okay? I really like to understand your vibes about adoption. What are your thoughts? I personally had always thought I wanted 4 children, and then I grew older and I realized that having children was not like plucking mango for a tree. So I said, okay, maybe I'll have 2 and adopt 2 more.
That sounds really great.
Actually,
it sounds really
like
great.
I said on the chit chat today, I've got personal plans to adopt, because if you've been to an orphanage, or if you've seen many of these children, they do need homes to grow up in. But
and we'll talk about orphanages tomorrow.
Right, we'll talk about orphanages tomorrow. But let's stay with adoption today, and you can reach us on the phone numbers now.
Call us on 01-277-0993, 01-277-1993, 01-277-2993, and 01-277-3993. This is Nigeria Info. We are listening.
Yes, it's 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's see who's on the line before we go to Port Harcourt.
Yes.
You tell us what your feel is about adoption. Good morning. Oh, I have
Hello,
a
good morning.
affair with that line. I think something
Oh,
is
really?
up with that line.
Okay,
Yes, I
all
think I
right.
noticed earlier this morning.
Oh,
But if
okay.
you're a female or you're in diaspora and you'd like to join us, you can call us on 012770993. That's the number for female callers and for those in diaspora.
Why
every
can't
other
we?
number.
Why can't we allow a single person adopt? By the way.
You really want me to answer that?
No.
It's
I'm just
compli- I
I'm
think
just
it's
asking the question.
It's complicated. So in Nigeria, it's under family law, I believe. And so the idea is to have a child grow up in a family,
Right.
to have a balance of both parents,
Yeah.
to understand what the family structure is. But in this age, the idea of family has changed
Exactly.
across the world.
Exactly.
It has changed. Hello?
Anybody here?
Okay, I think you all might have to try other lines. This particular one, I don't know exactly which one it is, has a problem. But let's head quickly to Port Harcourt while we get the lines working for you, where we have Mr. Fubara Eminabo joining us over the phone. Good morning. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Fubara. Can you hear us?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Fantastic. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Fubara Eminabo is the Director of Social Welfare, River State Ministry of Social Welfare and Rehabilitation. We're glad to have you join us on the show. Port Harcourt, Lagos, these are places where baby factories boom.
Plenty.
A
Plenty
lot.
baby factories.
And this shows that there is a demand for babies. Babies are not products, they're not things, but it means that people need to have babies. So tell us, in River State, what is the process for adoption? And is this different from other states in Nigeria?
Well, the process of adoption in River State is on the basis of what the child law of River State is. So we follow strictly based on the child rights law.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, Mr. Fubara. Go on. You said based on the Child Rights Act.
Based on the child rights law of River State.
Okay.
River
Okay.
State has the child rights law.
Okay.
So all our processes, when it comes to adoption, is similar to the child rights law of River State.
Can you itemize these processes? Can you tell us step after step what someone who wants to adopt will the process they will have to follow?
One, you will apply to the Ministry of Social Welfare and Rehabilitation. Then, interview will be held. The person's premises and house must be verified, after which placement letter will be issued to the person. We have a children's home. And there is also family adoption,
Okay.
that somebody can adopt into the family. For example, if someone dies and the parents or grandparents cannot look after that child and they want to give up the child, the person can adopt that child. So there are two processes, one from the government and one within the family.
What I want to know is how long does this process last? How long does it take for this process to be completed?
Basically, the issue of interview is done annually.
Oh.
It's done
That is-
annually. Did you say annually?
Yes. If you want to have the child through the government children's home. The other aspect is the family adoption. That one can be done anytime you can with relevant documents.
No, let me stay with you on the first one. So you mean that the interview is done just once a year. So anyone who wants a baby from a government home who doesn't apply at that time cannot get a child from a government home.
It's a process that will identify the person who is applying. you must be identified, you must be investigated, and also verified. Because you can understand that there is a lot of child trafficking these days. A lot of people will go and adopt outside the vaccines and bring them in. So for you, and that's why even in the family adoption process, a lot of scrutiny is being done.
Tell us about this scrutiny. What do you check for when someone comes up and applies, for adoption? What do you check for to be sure they're not traffickers?
One, where the person lives, the income of the person, the person's religious background is also comes into play. Then we also verify within the neighborhood.
Okay.
Who is this person? So those are the processes for us to actually know the person who is adopting.
So let's start with, you've mentioned where they live. What should that place look like? What's the acceptable place for these persons to live?
A place that is good for a child to grow up.
How do you determine that?
We don't look at generally affluence, but we look at the possibility of the person who is adopting to be able to look after the child.
So the person must be gainfully employed. That's what you're saying. The person must have work.
Not only unemployment, even if the person is doing business, it must be a genuine business.
So that means you have to verify with the CAC to be sure the business is registered. Or, how do you verify all of these things?
Well, you mentioned CAC.
Yes.
No, CAC for now has nothing to do with adoption process. What CAC, if an orphanage wants to register, and that's when we request for CAC, not adoption process.
So how do you verify their businesses? Say I have a personal business I run. How do you verify the legitimacy of that business?
The person who wants to adopt?
Yes.
Okay, if the person that wants to adopt, in Nigeria, not every business is registered, Business name registration is also not applied. But there is a process. If you mention that you are into this business, we won't talk to you. We will send people to verify if that business exists.
All right, let's talk about the next one you mentioned, and that's income. So what's the cap line? What's the minimum income level? Is there an amount that this person or these persons must have?
We don't grade people on income.
But you mentioned three things. You mentioned where they live, income, and religion.
No, the income basically is the aspect of the business or employment the person is doing. Not necessarily what amount is the person earning. No, there must be a way of looking at where the person is doing, not necessarily income per se, that this person earns from naira a month. No. And basically, if you enter a place, you can access. Usually, you don't sell when they are visiting. So it's a surprise kind of thing.
All right, let's look at the third one. Let's look at the third one, and that's religion. So I'm here wondering what religion has to do with adoption. What if the parents are atheists? They don't have any religion?
Right.
Or, is there a particular kind of religion that...
One thing, like I said, our adoption process is based on the child rights law of liberty. It's mostly based on the family adoption. If the family is a Christian family and you are adopting a child from that process, there must be an agreement from the family that is giving out and the family that is taking on the basis of what religion the child will say.
Right.
That's why we are
Okay.
mindful of. Yes.
Okay, so that's for family adoption. Like
Right.
you're taking a child from another family, so there must be an agreement as to the
Between
religion.
the family,
Between the families.
come from another family. Yeah.
Right. Let's look at this Child Rights Act, which you've made reference to, and the Child Rights Act, which is certainly domesticated in Rivers State, says where the applicant is a married couple, their marriage certificate must be presented, or a sworn declaration of marriage, also a birth certificate or sworn declaration of age of each applicant, 2 passport-size photographs, a medical certificate of the fitness of the applicant from a government hospital, other such documents that might be required by the court. Also, the age requirement for adopting parents is at least 25 years. So both of the parents must be at least 25 years. And
age issue is what it is actually 25 years. There is an emphasis. If the person adopting must be
21 years older.
20 years older
Yes.
than the person being adopted.
Yes,
Okay.
I hadn't finished reading that sentence. So the age requirement for adoption is 25 years old, and the prospective parent is required to be at least 21 years older than the child.
Yes.
And also it states here that both single individuals and married couples are free to adopt, but a single person would not be allowed to adopt a child of the opposite sex except in
Yes.
extraordinary circumstances. Are single persons really allowed to adopt children in Nigeria?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Fubara. The question is: are single persons allowed to adopt in Nigeria?
Yes, but you must adopt within the scope of your own. If, for example, you are a female, you can't adopt a male
A
child.
male child. That's right.
If you are a male, you can't adopt a female child. Because there are issues where a male adopted a female and eventually married the one that he adopted. So it's not a good process. The upbringing of that adopted child.
Mr. Fubara, I want us to talk about one of the worries of prospective adopting parents, and that is the cumbersome nature of the entire process. Looking at the way we just outlined it now and what you have explained, it actually doesn't sound cumbersome.
Right.
But when it comes to the actual practice of going through these processes, we heard that it can be really, really exhausting. What is the true picture of the actual practice of adoption process in Nigeria? Would you say that it's cumbersome and rightly so because it involves people, or it's not cumbersome at all?
As far as Minister of Social Welfare and Rehabilitation is concerned, the process is so smooth. The one thing a lot of people do is they want to fast track. They want to jump the gun. A lot of them will go out and adopt from outside. There is an implicit aspect of the child rights law in Rivers State that you can't cross boundaries. You can't cross, for example, Bayelsa is our neighbor. You go and pick a child and then come to Rivers State and adopt. Go through the adoption process. It's not allowed. What even a non-indigenous can do is you must have stayed in Rivers State boundary for 5 years before you can go into adoption. So if you are bringing in somebody from outside for you to go through adoption process, the law is implicitly not well with that process.
Okay. Now, we've talked about the process, and you said it's not that hard if you go through the process. But on an average, let's say in Rivers State, how many adoptions are successfully processed during a year?
One, from the Minister of Social Welfare and Children's Home, we give out what we have. Okay. We know that there are a lot of illegal homes and trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
So in that situation, we also are very careful in the adoption process. I think that's why I said a lot of people want to jump the gun. So if you want to jump the gun, a lot of questions will be asked. Okay. So that's the issue.
Yeah, what I was asking is, what I was asking.
What I'm saying is,
yes.
One, it depends on the number of children we have.
Okay.
Then, what the family bringing. We are also discussing with orphanages, genuine orphanages that we have registered, to go through the process of adopting children out. Because every child needs a family to grow up.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Fubara, can you give us a number? This year, 2019. I mean, the year is almost over. How much of adoptions would you say that
Were successful,
your own agency has processed successfully?
Are you giving me time frame to give you the figure?
No, can you give us a figure now?
No, that is what we've done this year.
Yes.
If I know that we've done between 60 and 70. And we have about 58 on the line.
Let's say that again. I'm sorry, the line is a bit poor, but let's say that again. You say you've had how many successful adoptions?
I said we have successfully done about 60, 70.
Between 60 to 70.
And we have about 58 we are verifying and investigating.
Right. That's in the whole year. So my question then is, if we have had about 60, let's even peg this at 70 adoptions in a year. Yes, we have baby factories. I mean, you just look through the news and you find the police uncovering baby factories here and there in Lagos, in Port Harcourt. In fact, practically across Nigeria. It shows there is a demand for children. There are people who want children, maybe for various reasons, but there are also people who genuinely want children. And if you also visit orphanages, you find children there.
Right.
So my question is, why aren't we making this process easier to, connect the children with the families that genuinely want them? 60 to 70 in a year. I don't know how you see it, but I'm not sure that's impressive for a whole state and for a state where you particularly have baby factories. So what's your assessment of what you've done so far in this year, and why aren't we making this process easier and faster?
Basically, baby factory is an alien thing coming out in the state. It's not actually much there. It's at the periphery of the state, the boundary areas of the state. We have had a lot of easy movement when they want. I think we have about 5 cases based on that one in court.
Okay.
We don't just close our eyes when issues of child trafficking comes up. One thing is certain. We are in the process of actually raiding this illegal home and also emphasizing on the issue that the orphanages should be open for adoption, because every child has the right to live within the family. So when we come up with these issues, then the issue will be strengthened. The one thing why we are having that kind of is because you are talking a state like this to get this thing in a year. One thing is the measure we use to avoid trafficking.
Okay.
once we have to do that one, we must be thorough so that we don't give out plastic children to anybody. Like I said, we have 58 in the process.
50.
We would have done. Yes, 58.
Okay, let's head out for a quick break, Mr. Binabo. We hope that when we come back, we're also able to fix that line to make it sound better. It sounds, just bear with us, please. But if you want to join this conversation on adoption or you have questions about the process, please head over right now to join us on WhatsApp 08095975805. Facebook, we're also streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3. You can also leave us your comments on Twitter, and we'll open the phone lines for you when we come back from this break. We have joining us Mr. Fubara Ibinabo, all the way from Rivers State. He's a Director of Social Welfare at the Ministry of Social Welfare and Rehabilitation. We're back in the moment with more on this conversation on the Morning Crossfire. I am Wemimo Adewuni.
I'm Sheriff Quadry.
More talk, news, and sports after this.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
That's right, it's the Morning Crossfire, and this is 99.3 Nigeria Info. We're heading to the phones to get your thoughts on adoption in Nigeria. In Rivers State, Mr. Fubara Binabo tells us that about 60 to 70 adoptions have been successfully processed this year, and about 58 are waiting in the pipeline. You've listened to what the Child Rights Act says, the process, and what you need to go through to get a baby. I mean, it sounds pretty easy.
Mr. Minabo has actually tried to, simplify things for us this morning, and he has also said that, there are processes to be followed, right? So if you're not getting the child, if you're not getting a baby or a kid, and it's not due to the fact that nobody wants to give you that baby. It's just that the processes must be followed, and a lot of people actually try to boycott this, because of those processes, because they can't wait, according to Mr. Minabo. Well, whatever it is, if you have tried the process before, whatever it is that you passed through, we would like to know. If it was because the process was too cumbersome, we would like to know. If it was because, it was just too rigorous. And yes, Mr. Minabo, we'll come to you later on as regards the inspection that you said that you do once a year. There have been so many cries as regards that. Interview, you say you do a year. So let's go to the phone lines first. Then we'll talk about that interview, thoroughly. Let's see if we have a caller here. Hello, good morning to you. The caller is not ready. yet. But should we take some comments on our socials?
I'd like to give out the phone numbers for those who don't have the numbers. And we're sorry again for the line. It sounds a bit poor. Please bear with us. And for those of you trying to reach us also, we know you're trying. Please also bear with us. We're working at it from this end. If you call us and we can't hear you, please try any of the other lines. If you missed out on any of the numbers, here they are.
Call us on 01-277-0993, 01-277-1993, 01-277-2993, and 01-277-3993. This is Nigeria Info. We are listening.
This is Nigeria Info. Yes, we are listening, and you can reach us on any of those numbers. We hope that you are able to join us when you keep trying the numbers. If you do, we'll be glad to speak with you. In the meantime, let me ask Mr. Ibinabo a few more questions. There are some allegations I heard, and I think it's appropriate to ask you. I'm told that many of these babies, so like I said, if you visit orphanages or government-run homes, you find babies there, and then you find parents or persons who want these children. Some people have said the babies are kept in those homes for profit. I mean, like, we need the orphanage to be full. We need the place to keep looking full. That's why the babies are not allowed to go. Both in private orphanages and in the government orphanages, we use this to raise funds. Is this true?
One thing that you look at is that one is children's room. There are a lot of issues on the way children come into the home. One, there are times children are trafficked, and the police in the investigation realize that these children are trafficked. Then they will go through the court process. If they are going through the court process, you cannot adopt these children out. So until they are through with the court process, and if they find that the person accused is guilty, and we can, even at that point, we still trace the families of these children. And if you don't get the families of these children, then at that point they can be adopted out.
Mr. Fubara, please hold the line. Let's speak with Lady Gwen. She's joining us. She's in transit. Lady Gwen, good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Hello, Wemimo, and
hey, Lady Gwen. Morning.
It's good to hook up with all of you in the studio this morning.
Welcome to the show.
I love the topic of the day, and I know the gentleman, the current question you asked him, I know the gentleman will say, oh, it's not true, but the reality, because I'm sure he will not be able to say it on a national radio. The reality is, these are some of the things that are being practiced. You know, people don't want to give out those babies because they want the place to look full, so that when people come, you know, they can say that, oh, there are needs. And apart from even that, the process might sound very easy, but you're saying once in a year. So how do we know that's once in a year? Some of those things, we don't have them in public domain for people to be able to, to know some of this information and say, oh, this is when we are going to apply. Right. And then another thing that, you know, in Lagos State, the process is so healing. So a lot of people are now going outside Lagos State to other parts of the state. And that's why I think you also have all these baby factories, because it's just right so easy for people to go get babies.
Just buy the baby.
Buy the baby, exactly. I mean, I've had a situation, because I want to adopt, I've had a situation where someone came to me, a friend of mine, who I know very well, whose younger sister had got pregnant, and, you know, it was such a bad situation. And the guy said to me, you know what, bring 250,000 naira. It will cover for the girl's bills, and you have the baby. Wow. I have to talk to my lawyers. And thank God I did that. And they said, do not try, because one, this is a friend. They know where you are. Right, they will come for the time, you know, by the time, I mean, I have a little bit of fun. I have family support. So by the time the child grows to be handsome, beautiful, strong, healthy, and all of that,
They want the baby back.
They will want their baby back, and then I'm back to square one. So the truth of the matter is, we will not, even the management of this facilities, they will not come on national radio. But trust me, Wemimo, I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. This is the reality of our situation.
Right.
Now,
Thank you,
another
Lady
thing, because I'm also trying in Oyo State, all right? And one of the things I'm being told is that I need to bribe the people to quickly get to my turn. And I need high network people, to help me to push things. It's killing. It's killing. We have all the love. We have all the family support. We have little funds to bring these children to bring these children to a new life. A new life. So if
thank you, Lady
can do that, let them be able to give us those children.
Thank you
and
very
make
much.
life easier for all of us.
Thank you so much
Lady
for calling,
Gwen,
Lady Gwen.
thank you for
well,
calling.
Miss Ibinabo, there you go. You heard it yourself. I mean, she took the words right out of my mouth. I've heard people say this, but there it is. I mean, so many of us at the end of the year go to the gifts and money. If the place is not full, we won't come back next year. So it looks like there's a deliberate
practice here.
Yes, to keep the house full. Mr. Ibinabo.
I didn't get you that.
Well, our last caller just collaborated the last question I was asking you about a deliberate attempt by the government and private orphanages or homes to keep the children there so the place is full and lively and people can send money and support. And this might be why there's a bottleneck in the process.
Hello?
Mr. Binabo, can you hear us?
Can you hear us, Mr. Binabo?
My end is one thing.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Okay, while we wait to hear from him, let's head to Twitter and read some comments. Yusuf Akinwale says, I think baby factories flourish as a result of stigma that comes with adopting a child. In this side of the world, if you adopt a child, you are seen as having a spiritual problem or being promiscuous. Wow. You will hear things like, she may have done series of abortions. Mutaza Miki Yusuf says, adoption is one of the greatest blessings of parenthood. Some of the best, very successful kids were adopted by some very caring couples. And he mentioned some of the celebrities that you know.
Mr. Binabo, can you hear us loud and clear now?
Hello?
Can you hear us loud and clear now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. Please stay on the line. Hello, good morning to you. I think, hello, good morning.
Oh, goodness. I'm just so immensely sorry if you're trying to reach us. We seem to have issues with the lines today, acting up. We're trying to fix it. You can't see it here, but engineers are working. Please bear with us.
I have a comment on Facebook. Etava Joyce says, good topic. I have had cause to visit orphanages in Lagos and Delta states and where we see grown-up children in those homes unadopted. From inquiries, only very young babies are in demand. They adduce various reasons for this. What is the government doing to correct these anomalies? Could it be due to clauses on adoption? And Mr. Ibnabo, that's my question. How many people actually take in grown-up kids? And is it true that people prefer babies to grown-up kids?
One thing is, people like the junior ones at most 1 to 5 years.
Okay.
Better relationship and all. They feel a lot of the grown-up ones have made up, have developed certain characters that may be difficult
to manage.
Right.
Yeah. That's why. And but these days, the pattern is changing. People are coming in for grown-up ones. Like I've had cases now, about 3 or 5, when they were giving about a year old or 2, they said no, they want grown-up ones.
Wow.
So people are coming. But if you come to our homes, a lot of times people will see grown-up ones.
Right.
One, there are children that are autistic. And those ones, basically, the person will want to
Children with special needs.
children with generally special needs.
Okay.
All
And
right.
we have also children who have this HIV. No person will want to take them. So when you come in,
Oh, we lost Mr. Minabo's
Connection
connection there. And we're just getting to that point. Really.
Goodness.
We'll try and establish contact with Mr. Iminabo. He joins us from Port Harcourt. Mr. Fubara Iminabo is Director of Social Welfare, River State Ministry of Social Welfare and Rehabilitation. I mean, this is getting to that climax of our conversation this morning. The care given to children in orphanages, government-run orphanages in particular. That's where we're about to, get into. Hopefully, we'll be able to establish contact with him, and he can speak to us further on the care being given to these kids, so that at least, and of course, enlightenment being given to would-be adopted parents that can actually see more reasons to open their minds up to more reasons they should adopt, children with special needs, and of course, children living with HIV. I mean, these are valid concerns that parents, would-be adopted parents, would have. But what is being done to make sure that we open up their minds into endless possibilities in adopting such children from the orphanage?
Again, we can only apologize to you to please bear with us with the sound today. We're working to fix it, and we see the lines buzzing, but something is up with the lines when you call and we can't hear you. But if you can't try any of the other lines, or if you can reach us online and tell us which of the lines you're having problems with, it helps us resolve this quicker. In the meantime, you can head over to Twitter and also WhatsApp. I'm trying to I don't know, everything is just acting up today. You can reach us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM, and also we're live on Facebook and YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3. If you want to leave us a message on WhatsApp, go ahead. Once the WhatsApp comes up, I'll be reading all of those messages. We're talking about adoption in Nigeria, and as simple as it sounds, I mean, just with the Child Rights Act, I mean, everything is just on a page, my paper here.
Right.
And I mean, it looks very easy to go through, just apply. And
from what Lady Gwen said, someone who had been through it all in the process of adoption, I mean, it's never easy.
no, it's not.
It's never easy.
If it
You
was
have to-
easy, we wouldn't have booming baby factories.
Right.
Where there's
there
great
is
supply.
there is a connection between
There's a demand.
Yeah, there is a connection between the government-run orphanages and, of course, baby factories booming. You
Absolutely.
cannot disconnect that. I mean, it's just impossible.
There's a demand somewhere.
Right.
Mr. Eminabo is back on the line. Welcome back, sir. Mr. Eminabo, can you hear us now?
yes, I'm hearing you.
Fantastic.
All right, welcome back. So I needed to tell us. So I know that children in these homes and different categories, you mentioned, you touched on this briefly earlier. So tell us, children that are up for adoption, where did they come from?
Will be confirmed from the family. What kind of confirmation are you talking about?
No, I didn't ask you about confirmation. I said children in the homes, in, say, orphanages. Where are the various places they come from? I know some of these children, some of them, their mothers.
Do they get abandoned? Did the
abandoned.
mothers die, or the mothers, suffering from one ailment or the other? I mean, where do they come from, the babies?
Okay, basically, from the home owned and managed by the state government through the Ministry of Social Welfare and Rehabilitation, we get our home and our children from the hospitals, mostly our general hospitals, then abandoned children, and also at times police in their movement usually see children. They bring them to the home. But when police bring those children, we subject them to investigation before when we are correct, then or sure we now bring them for adoption.
Mr.
Not every child that comes to us is adoptable like that.
Aha.
Exactly.
That was going to be my next question. Not
Exactly.
every child is adoptable. So not every child we see in an orphanage can actually be adopted. What classes or categories of children are not adoptable? They're not up for adoption.
Like I said, this way then we have 7 mentally ill women who we evacuated from on the road. We took them to our rehabilitation center and took the children to children's home. Those children, we can't place them for adoption because after the treatment, and they come up to tell us that this is their home, then we close the relations, and when we are sure, we unite them with their family.
Okay.
So those ones can be adopted. Then the ones police do, either by their patrol, there's their trafficking issues, until we are sure, because a lot of people are also in court. So at that point, those children can be adopted. Then we have issues of health. For example, if a child has HIV,
Okay.
a lot of them don't. A lot of these people who want to adopt don't adopt.
Is it that those children with HIV and special needs are not up for adoption, or people just don't want them? There should be a difference.
People don't come up for them.
But they are adoptable.
From the ministry's angle, if we have somebody who want to adopt those ones, we give us. We've only considered in 1 or 2 that are really very sensitive.
Miss Eminabo, how do you care for these children who have HIV
And special needs.
and special needs as well?
In River State right now, HIV treatment is free. Even before then, we have serious, because of the nature of the service we give, we have drugs, and some of them are at the point they come, when they are very tender, less than 1 year, they are grown with the drugs, with experiences. And those ones have now been, when it is satisfied that it's negative on them, then we succeeded in adopting those ones.
All right. What is the cost of adoption? I think we need to know. So, what does it cost?
Because basically, adoption is free.
Free?
Oh, well, that's what we all hear. That's what we hear all the time.
Absolutely free, or
But is it free?
paper free? Is it absolutely free, you mean? Mr. Minabo, can you hear us?
I thought you talked about cost of adoption.
Yeah, the cost.
Yes, the cost of it.
From the ministry's angle, it's free.
Okay. There is no payment done all along this process?
The cost process is different because there are the case has to be filed in court. Initially, we were having three filings. But every person wants to boost his revenue. So we are paying very little in that way. So those things are tied on the adopting parents.
Indeed. But Mr. Minabo, let me ask this question. After giving out a child for adoption, do you go back to check up on the child on how often do you do this? And add this to it because of time. What could necessitate you or a child being withdrawn from the parent?
Okay. Basically, the first step when you be giving a child is called fostering. It lasts for 3 months. This period enables the ministry to to look at the issue whether the adopting parents will comfortably live with the child, or the child is also comfortable living to live with the adopting parents. If there is a gap, we withdraw because we've done a lot in that respect.
Okay.
Is that counseling done for the family? Is that counseling? I mean, post-adoption counseling to help with the integration.
From the interview to the point of verification, that period generally is the counseling period. And the regular visit to the home, if for the first time they observe something, they talk about it. That is the counseling period.
Okay.
It is when we are sure that, yes, the child and the adopting parents can live together, then we go the next step of actually processing the adoption.
Okay, let me read some comment from WhatsApp.
Adoption is not done immediately you take the child.
Oh, okay.
The first thing is the first step, yeah.
Okay.
Right. We have a comment on WhatsApp from Anyawu Geoffrey, who says, reaching us from Akoka Yaba, says, please, what's the cost of adopting a child? Well, he just said it's free. We'll be focusing on Lagos State tomorrow, don't worry, but then we're sure that the lines will be good. It says baby factories will continue to boom because they satisfy a cultural desire. They provide babies to the families as the families actually had them. It says, unless the government agency plays some role or reorientate the people. We also have another comment in here from Emmanuel, who says, I guess is not answering our questions directly. Okay, if you have more questions, we'll ask you to please just join us again tomorrow. Shego from Michelle is asking, is the baby factory not surrogacy? No.
No, it's not.
No.
Absolutely.
And no.
Capital no.
No. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. Surrogacy is a different thing, especially. On Twitter, Joy Forever says, adoption is good as long as it is legal, but most people do it illegally. God will bless all apparent barren. What's apparent? I don't know what that means.
Right.
But okay. I get your point. All right. So, guys, we apologize again for the quality of our sound today.
Right.
Please do bear with us. And for all of you who tried reaching us on the phone lines, please bear with us.
We must go now. Mr. Fubara Iminabo, thank you so much for joining us on the program all the way from Port Harcourt this morning. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
I'm grateful.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Fubara.
Basically, it was for us to find certain needs and discuss this process of adopting children. Because of the increase, before this time, a lot of people feel it's abominable.
Okay.
Right now, a lot of people are looking at it also from the angle of humanitarian posture.
Exactly.
So there is this increase. But we shouldn't forget the fact that there are bad people in the system who do these things for their selfish ends. And that's why the processes must be very streamlined.
Okay.
Please. Some people will take it as delaying, but it's a process that will bring out because we've seen a lot of areas where this illegal people coming.
Right.
Mr. Binabo is the Director of Social Welfare, Rivers State, Ministry of Social Welfare and Rehabilitation. Thank you very much for joining us on the show today. In Nigeria, we're having a second part of this conversation tomorrow, bigger and better. We would have fixed all of these things.
Yeah.
We promise. Please, I'm so sorry.
We'll be talking about homes, baby factory again, and of course, foster home, foster parents, foster kids.
That's different from adoption.
Yes. So is it operational? Is it existing in Lagos and in Nigeria? That one is even bigger.
Right. We'll see you again tomorrow morning. Let's keep talking on social media. We're at Nigeria Info FM. All of our shows, if you missed any one of them, is up on Facebook and YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3. We thank the team for assisting and Emmanuel Owuka all the way from Port Harcourt, our studios there. We're back tomorrow morning with more conversation. I'm Wemimo Adewuni.
And I'm Sheriff Quadry.
From your #1 talk news and sports station. This is the Morning Crossfire with Wemimo and Sheriff.